good road. But keep in mind that back in the 1700s, 1800s, even early 1900s, countries were more isolationist than they are today. International connections were only just beginning to develop. So the old school road is anything but a good road. Kids don't want to walk on it because it's crumbling under the weight of new challenges. Old colonies are now competitors, and international connections stretch from Bangladesh to Belgium through the information superhighway. Speaking of Bangladesh and Belgium, you may have heard complaints about outsourcing, the process of sending jobs to countries where they can be done for cheaper and, some say, better. Manufacturing in China, calling centers in India, the list goes on and on. So have any of you seen the Did You Know videos? Raise your hand if you've seen the Did You Know videos. Maybe a lot of you have seen those, and they have these really startling statistics going by in rapid order along with pretty dramatic music. And so one of the ones that I really noted was part of India's population, the 25% of India's population with the highest IQs, is greater than the total population of the United States. Then it was followed by translation. India has more honors kids than America has kids. And I thought that that was really startling. Now, that might not have been something we noticed 100 years ago, 200 years ago. It might not have been true 100 or 200 years ago. But because of global connections, because of our trade and our communication with countries like India, then companies based in the US are not always looking inward for workers, they're looking out. The playing field has been expanded from one city. The playing field has been expanded from one city, one state, or one country to include almost every inhabited nation on Earth. But what's the point of education? Is it just to create workers and churn people out to put them in the workforce? No, it doesn't just create job-ready students. It also creates contributing citizens who must contribute to their nation and to their world to solve the problems that are problems around the globe. So 21st century students are facing more severe and direct challenges than many who have come before. There's cyber warfare and conflict and extremism and climate change. It's a lot on anyone's plate, and it weighs even more if you're not prepared. So we must solve today's problems by creating students who will be able to innovate for the next day and solve the questions that do not even yet exist. Technology pushes us to defy boundaries and encourages us to pioneer. And it helps unleash our creativity and imagination. So have any of you watched the movie Avatar? Raise your hand if you've watched the movie Avatar. I have not yet, although everybody is telling me to. So that is an example of where technology is used to great effect to create an interesting and moving storyline and an interesting and moving movie. The iPhone's existence pushes people to make creative applications. So I cite that Atomic Fart as a great example of this. Now, when you were, say, 5 years old, did you know exactly what you wanted to be when you grew up? Raise your hand if when you were 5 years old you knew what you wanted to be when you grew up. And are you what you wanted to be at 5 now? I say some nods, but the majority of the audience, it looks like, did not know exactly what they wanted to be at 5. So at 5, I wanted to be an architect until I found out that being an architect involved math, at which point it was another story. At 6, I was going through the kind of princess ballerina stage until I learned that the first involved marriage and the second involved a lot of hard work, both of which I found really distasteful at the time. And at some point, I think I even wanted to be president. I certainly don't now. If you see the gray in hair, that's not something that looks great on me. It wasn't until I was 7 or 8 that I had a more solid idea of what I wanted to be. Well, solid, you heard what it was. But who knows, I might add some more to that, I might shave some more off, I might become a lawyer or a doctor, maybe even an architect, or all of the above. Like yesterday's students, today's students have many different career options ahead of them, but the career options are a little different. So the world has gone through periods of rapid change in recent history. Farmers have become city dwellers, and the assembly line has spread up production on so many different fronts. Professions have been adding up steadily, too. Who worked in forensic accounting 100 years ago? I'm not even sure what forensic accounting is. I read an article on MSN in which one person they quoted was a menu psychologist. Menu psychologist. That is like a dream job. And ago that they wanted to work in green funeral directing. Actually, I'm not sure that green funeral directing is a dream job today either, but with the revolution of technology over the past 50 years, new jobs have been adding up. And many job titles which are commonplace have gone out of existence. Who heard of a chandler anymore? They apparently make candles. And job titles which were not in existence years ago have become commonplace. I never heard of a technology coordinator in the 1800s, or really early 1900s for that matter. It's no longer so much about choosing one path and staying on it. The 21st century student's pathway is forked in many different directions. In fact, the U.S. Department of Labor estimates that today's learner will have 10 to 14 jobs by the age of 38. 10 to 14 jobs. In the olden days, you would graduate from high school or college, get a job, and stay with it until you retired. Today, a more competitive and volatile economy means that students may be retiring later. It means that they may not be able to do the same jobs that their parents and grandparents have done. And it means that they will have to maybe have many different jobs over a lifetime. The world and its needs are constantly changing, and the ability to solve those problems means the ability to learn new skills and the ability to learn and relearn. Not only do we need to give our students knowledge about the past, we need to give them the knowledge to help them innovate for the future. And we have to make them flexible and give them the confidence to learn anything. The challenges that new technology provides in the classroom, you know what I'm talking about, the challenges that new technology provides in the classroom, but that gives students practice in learning new skill sets and finding new innovative ways to use technology that they might have previously used for just gaming. When you were growing up, did you know how to podcast? Anybody? Okay,